The following videos have been copyrighted by Digital PFS. Duplicating, reproducing, disseminating, or uploading these videos is strictly prohibited. They are intended for training and educational purposes only and may not be distributed to the public. The views and opinions expressed are those of the speakers presented and not necessarily those of Primerica Financial Services.
Thank you. I love what Dennis did. He and I collaborated, not on the books he and I have written. By the way, you obviously know this. I don't take any compensation whatsoever. So when you see my name on some, zero compensation. That's a signed agreement with him. We do different foundations, ministries, different things around the world. And all that money that it would go to me goes to that. I refuse to take anything else other than my Primerica income because, first of all, it is sufficient. And I pay my bills, but I don't have any bills, so I keep everything. But I want to encourage you, the best way to use that material, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today when I'm going through this whole concept of building. And it's going to be pretty fundamental, very fundamental, but so is success. I mean, it is not that many secrets of winning. I don't care if it's your physical life, your marriage. A lot of people say, oh, boy, you're so lucky. Luck has nothing to do with success. Nothing. Zero. You can determine your marriage. You can determine your physical life. You can determine your financial life. You can really determine the outcome of life, but you got to pay attention to life. Does that make sense? And a lot of us don't do that. We ignore the signs that life tends to put up in front of us. I mean, if any of y'all have children, how many of y'all have children? Okay. Have you ever heard a parent or a spouse of a parent tell a child or say to each other, well, they'll learn. Let them make their own mistakes. I don't think that's a smart thing. You can learn to make them, stick your hand on a fire, but I think it'd be smarter to learn from somebody else's pain versus you having to have your own. Does that make sense to everybody? I mean, you can have all this premarital sex, have a bunch of unwanted children, and then not want them when you have them because you didn't think about it before you had them. You can do the same thing with drugs. You can do the same thing with alcohol. You can do the same thing with your time. And all of a sudden you wake up like a 67-year-old college coach I recruited, one of the most famous coaches in the United States. I recruited him about 2 months ago. And he told me when I was sitting down with him, and his wife, by the way, great human beings, that this would be his second opportunity to make up for lost time. Because when he had coached, he didn't really accumulate enough money. And at 67, high energy, good looking guy, about my height and probably in as good a shape as I am, but didn't do as good a job financially because everybody thinks you're going to have more time than you have. And all of a sudden he loses his job because in college, it's going to happen in college and professional coaching, but he hadn't done a great job of saving and investing his money. So he told me, he said, Billy, this could be a chance for me. I'd recruited his son, who's also a very successful college coach. And he said, I really want to make up for lost time, and I don't have that much time. I said, well, you'll be able to do that here, but you're going to have to put in a lot of work. You're going to have to be coachable and this, oh, yeah, I'm going to do all that and this, that, and the other. And so we started the process, and I met with his wife for dinner, and I was asking her dreams and goals because I'm really big on that. And she was telling me all the things she wants. She said, well, I like the finer things of life also, and I don't want to have to keep working forever and drawing a paycheck for some other man. I said, no problem. I can take care of all that, but you're going to have to help him. She said, no, not only that, I want to get licensed. She said, I love this. And she said, I want to do the same thing. Now, you don't think this happens to me. That was on a Thursday. Sunday, I was like the son of Satan. No, they didn't dish me like that, but they did start ghosting me. They did start, well, I got this, I don't have enough time. And I said, well, somebody left you millions of dollars in the last 4 or 5, 6 days? You all of a sudden got that because the quote out of their mouth. That's why it's good to have these big ears. I'm telling you, I don't forget anything. I'm not that smart, but I don't forget stuff. I got to have plenty of time. And she said he loves to stay busy. He needs to do this. And all of a sudden by Monday, wasn't it amazing at how busy he got? And not only that, I met with him again, and I threw in his face, because once again, if you tell me something, I'm going to remember it. I said, so your dreams, your goals, making up this money, all of a sudden, that is not important to you? Oh, no. I said, no, I'm not. I said, you just got to tell me, I don't care. I'm good. I'm totally wealthy. You're not. No, I'm just telling you this. I looked at him square in the eye. I told him, I said, look, dude, I love you. I've just in a few days, in the last couple of 3 weeks, I've got to know you. You signed up. You signed that thing immediately. You came to my office. I went through everything. I said, I showed you the way I was going to. I made a commitment to your wife. I told you I prayed about it before I even got there, because I knew I was going to give my commitment to you. I know how valuable my time is. And I don't work with people that don't want to win. I really thought you wanted to win. I thought you were serious about your goals and your desires. You're not a small child I'm dealing with here. You're a grown man. And no, I don't do it, because I don't want you going out and do that. You got to understand, I come from a different level of, no, I'm not. I mean, some of y'all think I'm playing here. I don't talk when I say this kind of stuff, I'm doing it to a grown man, face to face. I'm not saying it condescending. I'm saying it to a grown man that I think wants to be coached and talked to like a grown man. And I want to be talked the way I want to be talked to. Just tell me the truth. You ain't got to sugarcoat crap. Be respectful, but you ain't got to sugarcoat a lot of stuff with me. Just tell me what the heck you want me to do and get out of my way, because I'm going to do it. And I told him, I said, I thought that's who you were. And he started coming up with all these excuses. Well, I don't know what this, I don't know. I said, well, you don't even know about this. So what you're saying is, in reality, you know more about my business than I do. And in reality, what you're saying is, here I am mega wealthy. I'm 5 years older than you. I'm willing to work with you. I already prayed for it, because I told my wife I was going to be out there getting after it again, and she knows what I'm going to commit to. And all of a sudden, you're telling me you don't have the time, and yet I've got the time? Somewhere there's a disconnect here. Now, I want you to understand this, because when we give you those opportunity to get these books, that's not about, because Dennis and I talked about this. And I said, when you go around and train like this, and you don't realize he mentors some of these guys up there. He goes all around the world, top advisors to the top 12 executives in the world. And you get him up here, and he even pays his own way here. And some of y'all think he's trying to sell a $10 book. Let me tell you something. You're missing the boat there. But if you, and I'm not saying this to get it, but I recruit somebody, as God is my witness, and I recruit a lot of directs. I don't train them. I get other guys help me train them. I recruit through them. And I go with them on all the appointments. I do their fast start planners, all I can. I'm just not going to take the time and effort and energy to make the sales, because I don't have time to follow up with them. But I do all the recruiting. I do the fast start planners. I meet with them individual. I go through all the baby. I tell them, I'm your nanny. No, that's what I tell them. I'm the nanny and the mama. Now, if I recruit somebody, if I recruit Jim Coker, I say, now he's the mama, he's the daddy. He's going to love on you, all kind of stuff. I'm the nanny. I'm going to wipe your butt. I'm going to pat you on the back. I'm going to spoon feed you. That's what I do. You say, well, you don't. No, that's what Bill Whittle does. I'm the first one at my office every day. I got a shirt and tie on every day. I usually wear pants, but I dress nice every day. I got a co-op, a huge co-op. I bring breakfast food. I bring breakfast sandwiches. I bring donuts. I bring all kinds of stuff. I have coffee going fresh when they walk in there. I make sure the office thing's all set up. It's just a beautiful setup. But yeah, I do all the dirty work, and I let my people do all the fun type stuff. I take them out to lunch. We go to all kind of stuff. Bring them by my house. But what I'm asking you to do today is this. I want you to really get serious over this next hour, about 15 minutes I have with you. Because I'm going to go through what Art Williams embellished on some of this stuff, but I think you'd listen more attentively if you thought, I don't know if that's even a word, if you really thought Art Williams said this. So some of this thing, I'm not being a hypocrite. I'm just trying to give him credit, because you'll listen to more, because his pockets and piles bigger than mine. I met a young lady in the hall, and she said, she's sitting right here in front of me. She wanted me to take a picture with her. She said, I got a picture with Bobby Buisson too. I said, well, my pile's not as big as Bobby's pile. She said he kissed me on the forehead when I saw him. And I said, well, I'll kiss you on the forehead, but it ain't going to be a $500 million kiss like Bobby's is. You know what I'm saying? But the fact is, the information can help you build a business, but it's the same information I was willing to give this guy, but what did he do? He wasn't willing to accept it. Isn't that sad? And I told him, I said, dude, you don't really have a lot to offer me. I can change your life and make all your dreams go. What are you really going to do for me? What? What if you become one of my most successful people? And I talked to him about Jim. I swear to God, strike me dead on my phone. I texted him again about Jim and Mary this morning. I was telling him about his background, what he's making now, this, and I said, Coach, I won't tell you his name because he's a very famous basketball coach. So if I said his first name, you'd know exactly who it is. And I said, your life could be this gentleman's life. And I said, Jim's the exact same age you are right now, but he started with me. All you got to do is make up for a lot. But the difference is, I'm going to be there with you every second. Now, if you're willing to work, I'm willing to go with you. And I'm not letting up. Now, when I talk about this today, I want you to have this same thing. I was showing Glenn my work notebook that I walk in every house when I do these meetings or I go to every recruiting appointment at my office. This notebook, my family's on there. Fixing to add a new one. Lauren's fixing to have her first child. It's going to be a boy. They're in induced labor. It's going to come, not early. They all come on time. But they are supposed to be due November 3rd, which my wife's birthday is November the 4th. But they're going to bring Beckham in on the 24th. So his picture will be up there. But I carry this on every appointment because the first thing I do is to him and say, this is my family. And I tell them, this is why I'm sitting here with y'all. When I recruit somebody, I look them square in the face and I say, this is my family. This is why I'm going to work with you. I don't know you and I don't love you right now. I know them and I love them. I'm really not doing this for you. I'm doing that for them. Now you'll become part of my family and I will love you and I'll work for you and I'll give you everything I have. But I love them. So when you see me work like I work, you're going to think I'm insane. You're going to think I'm crazy, but you don't know how much I love them. Now, if you have any feelings like that for your family, we're going to go along great. And if not, I'm going to tell you up front, I'm going to try to change you. Because goals do demand change. And if you had the real right goal, if anybody in your life was that important, and anything in your life was that important, you'd have already changed. Up until this moment, nobody or nothing in your life is that important. Whether it's saving money, getting yourself in shape physically, building a business, whatever it is, it's not important enough to you. And I look them square in the eye and say, oh, you understand what I'm saying? Because when I write down your goals and dreams, I'm never going to forget this. You might, and that's sad, that I would remember your goals and dreams more than you would. And I did that with him. And he looked me square in the eye, and he did it. Then I did it with his wife. She looked me square in the eye, and I did it. And yet, about a week later, nothing. Now, let me give you another quick one. I'm going to get into the training. Had a young lady sit down with me with one of my new agents. And he's not new. He's been with me about 6 months now, killing it. Guy I recruited, then I recruited his dad. Both of them are doing very well. Gets this girl in front of me. She comes in, and I'm telling you, I didn't know whether I should slip my wrist or hers. I was so depressed, and it's hard as hell to depress me. I'm like jacked up. My kids tell me, like, Pops, you like you got a propeller up your butt. You just never stop. You know what I'm saying? Bentley is me on steroids. I'm telling you, Blake, I used to have to push him so hard in sport. Not Bentley. That dude wakes up, he stayed all night with him in the night, and he's sleeping in my bed. Leslie was out of town at our place down in Florida, and she was, he looks over at me, you know, he got the, and I'm like, I knew he was staring at me, but I'm thinking, no, please let him sleep a little bit longer. And so all of a sudden he saw my eye open and said, Pops, reached over, hit me, he said, let's do some push-ups. I'm thinking, I might roll over and push my butt into the bathroom to pee for about the 10th time a night, but I don't want to do no He said, come on, Pops. So I'm thinking, I swear to God, I'm thinking, well, I used to, when I was coaching, I'd go down and do 50 push-ups for every 10 the kids did, so I'd rack off 100 plus push. And so I said, okay, let's go. And I get out of bed. He's all fired up. He starts doing push-ups. I said, I'm fixing to smoke him. I racked off a few, and I'm about ready to die. I work out every day. And I'm like ready to die. And I'm thinking, I'm out of shape as far as doing push-ups. He's laughing. He said, okay, Pops, now let's do some setups. I said, well, I'll smoke him. I knew I could do setups, right? Well, he's like just cranking, and I'm like ready to die after a while. And I said, how about this, Bentley? Turn your iPad on. I'm going to take a shower and shave. You know what I'm saying? Now, what I'm going to cover you with this, like with Bentley, okay, there's certain things Bentley wants to do. I don't have to push him. He is into it. So today when I was over to working out, I got an Uber to go work out over here at this fitness place. And so I was over there, and this guy from Italy had a big old heavy ball, and he was balancing on one foot, and he's hopping across the place and swinging his leg back and forth. Now, I can't do that because I got artificial knees and crap. But I work out every day. So I'm thinking, that looks so cool. And immediately I thought, who would I think in my life needs to see that? Bentley. Who do I think in my life that would do that? Bentley. But if I don't bring that information back to Bentley, what am I really saying about Bentley? I have the knowledge, I have the opportunity for you to get to be developed better, but I'm not going to share that with you. So what this is like today, when I give you this information, throw me that water right there if you don't mind. Just throw it up here, I'll catch it. Or you can bring it to me either way. Okay, thanks. Okay, now watch. Okay, and I want you to use these, because I'm going to give you a couple of quick things here, and I got to quit running my mouth because I can get this training. But let's say one of your children or somebody you knew had cancer or AIDS. Everybody got me? And this is a cure. Now, who has the cure for cancer and AIDS right now? Me. It's right here in front of me. And I know it's the cure to cancer. And I know your kids have cancer, or your friends have cancer, or you have cancer. And I've got the cure. I know it works. 100% know it works. But I do this. What kind of self-centered, selfish SOB, seriously, would I be? Am I right or wrong? How about it? Here it is, and I do this. Right in front of you. You tell me the difference in that example and us not out there prospecting, recruiting, training, developing people, because you know for a fact people are going to their bed every night dying financially, dying, their hopes and dreams are dying, and yet we got a cure and we won't show it to them. We got all the answers, and we talk about it and all that kind of stuff. We never share it, so they don't get the opportunity to change. You can make that much difference in people's lives, but you have to believe that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to take through this thing, it's called the 50-50 rule that applies to everything. Okay, I'm going to go extremely fast because I'm going to cover a ton of stuff with you, because tonight's going to be totally different, tomorrow's going to be totally different. But I really want to go some basic fundamental principles, but it's a little more just the basics, okay? So we're going to pull this up in time, because I'm big on time management. And I want you to become great on time management. But watch. So we look at this, the 50 rule, the question you should always ask yourself, what am I spending my time doing? And number two is, who am I spending my time with? Okay, now, you got to answer that. I don't know, but you need to answer it, because we all have the same amount of time, right or wrong? We all know that. We're the oldest thing in the world, right? So a lot of people, like this guy said, well, I don't have time because I'm working with some of these kids that are underprivileged. Is that what we call it? Financially, in the sense they got no dads and moms. And he told me this to begin with. But yet his wife said, what? He's got a lot of time. He said, I got a lot of time on my hands. All of a sudden now, he doesn't have it. What is that? That's an excuse. That's bull crap's what it is. Nobody in his life's ever called his bluff on that. Now, I did it. Hadn't worked yet. But I told him this morning, I'm not letting up on you, and I'm not giving up on you. If I let up, I'm letting him down. That's how you ought to live your life with your children. When you let up in this thing, you're letting somebody down. So what do you spend your time with? Who you spend your time with? What are you spending your time doing? So in time management, it says, are you investing with the right relationships? Because when you recruit somebody, you're going to build relationships. And it is like he was showing you with the Shark Tank. They want to know, if I get into business with you, am I investing in my time? They don't care about their money. They all have money, but they don't all have a certain amount of time. So they want to know, am I in the right relationship? So in this case, you got to know, if you're going to spend time with people, is it paying off? You also have to know, when Jim Coker calls you, is it paying off? When you come to a meeting like this, is it paying off? And if he looks at it and it doesn't, he is a fool as a business person to invest his time. So you think, well, Bill, you came up here when Jim was making $22,000 a year. What made you invest your time in him? I knew him. When I met him, I knew him because I watched him around his people. I saw his marriage. I saw he treated people. I saw the people treated him. I saw everything about Jim, and yet I didn't know Jim. Is everybody got me? And then at that point, I looked at Jim. I said, listen, Jim, as much as you want me to come up here, I will come up. But I'm asking you to make a commitment to come down to me every 3 months for a fast start school. I know you don't have any money, but that's on you. You're going to have to find the money to come see me. Then I expect you to get your people together and get them down there. You know, he was bringing 300 to 400 to 500 people down to Baton Rouge, New Orleans, every 3 months before he stopped and started having his events up here. But listen, did I look at my return on my investment? Yeah, if I'm going to give my time and my money to come up, shouldn't I expect a return? Okay, how about when people get involved with you? If they don't think you can get them where they were, where they want to go, should they give their time and effort to you? Because they don't have to get any money, but they're going to have to put their time into it. It's got to pay off. So you got to look at the people. VIP, I've taught this for years. The VIP, you're very important people. You ain't got to say crap to them, and they do it immediately. They jump all those things. They do everything you tell them to, and they're rocking and rolling. Now, you may think you're that way, but you got to prove it by look at your time schedule, look how much you're producing, look how much what are you contributing to the team? VTP means they're very teachable people. That means like the coaching books, you'll do some analysis in there and some, what word am I looking for, Jim? Y'all know he's smarter than I am. Okay. But anyhow, you're going through it, and it's going to give you a list in there to fill out, rate yourself 1 through 3, 1 through 3, 1 through 5, give yourself 1, 2, 3, stuff like that. Okay. And when you do it, then you ought to get together with somebody that may take a different, because a lot of times we have an opinion about ourselves that's not accurate. Okay. You ought to get somebody, like Jim calls it, a truth teller, that's going to tell you the truth. Because you may think you're coachable, but all of a sudden then, like a guy called me this morning, me asked my advice, and I started giving it, and he texted me back, and he said, I didn't call you back, but if you want to call me back, I'd love to hear from you. I'm thinking, wait a minute, let me see. I made about $4 million last year, and you're not, and yet you didn't call me back? What was it? He's not coachable. Got me on that? I didn't tell him what? What he wanted to hear. I told him what he needed to hear, but that ain't what he wanted to hear. That's not being coachable. Okay? So remember, very teachable people, and that coach book talks about that. Are you the one initiating somebody coaching you, or are you waiting for them to come to you? I see some people, even on the front 2 or 3 rows, not taking notes. I can tell you up front, you ain't got a chance in hell. No, I'm just telling you, it ain't happening. It tells me you're not even coachable. It is the apathy or arrogance. You think you know everything, that's arrogance. Or you're apathetic because you don't want to know anything. I mean, think about that. So you look at this, the next one is very NP, very nice people, VNP. We got a lot of people like that, and you want them around now. You want nice people around. We want good people. Good people win here. Nice people get their butt kicked. Guys, please write this down, because some of y'all, you're nice, real nice. Everybody likes you. They kick you around. You're fun. They want to drink beer with you, but you're not going to be a leader. You want to be a good person, an honest person, a trustworthy person. But nice people get their butt kicked. Like Bentley, my grandson, he is a freak as an athlete. Everybody at school loves him. The older kids love him. The teachers love him. Everybody on his team loves him. Everybody wants him on the team. He's just a freak. But let me tell you something. He will knock your jock off. I'm telling you, he is like an animal. But he's not a nice person. He's a good person. So you got to become this way, okay? You got to recruit these kind of people. Then VDP, very demanding, draining people. Anybody know anybody like that? What's the objective? Make sure people don't think you're like that. Okay. Are you demanding? Are you draining? Do you go to the office and complain about certain things? Go to a fast start school. I don't like the way so-and-so said so-and-so. It's too warm in there. I can't believe I had to pay to get into a meeting. I can't believe they got books out there and I got to pay to get a book. They should have given me the book. They're making all this money. Why don't they give me everything? Okay. You ain't going to make it. Very draining, demanding people don't make it anything in life, okay? The concept of appreciation is very, very, very important. Jim Coker has never been draining to me, ever. I mean, never, okay? So I want you to think about this because you're in leadership. You got to think, who am I spending my time with? Think about the conversation you have. Think about, do you mean I have to come to a meeting? Oh, you're going to do it on Saturday morning? Oh, they got football games on tomorrow. Well, not up here. Y'all don't get to worry about that up here. But down south, we got football, okay? So the championship detector, I came up with this about 40 years ago, and it's in y'all's workbook too. But this is how you say, who am I spending my time with? So let me give you an example. This girl that I just recruited through these coaches. Now remember, one of the most successful college coaches ever. Now, remember when we asked you, don't flip through your book, and I'm sitting here watching a couple of people flip through their book. What's that telling you? What's the title of the book, if you don't mind? Okay, what's the other book that we co-wrote, me and him? Coachable. And yet, right here in front of me, they're flipping through the book. Okay, I made right at $350 last month total income. I'm not sure if I should point this person out, but I don't think they made that last month. But yet, they'll say they're coachable when they fill that book out. Isn't that interesting? Now, if you look at this, here's what she did. I recruited this girl. She makes about $138, $140 a year. So I gave her this. I went through it in a fast start planner. Personally went through it with her. I told her about having appointments. She had to have credibility, get them to the office and there. So we had an appointment that next morning, and she was supposed to bring her mom in to do her financial planning, do some investment advice, insurance advice. I said, look, I'll advise her that I'm going to have another agent, one of my top trainers, come in here and write the business up because I'm not doing it, but I'll advise her on everything. She said, oh, that'd be unbelievable. That morning, her mom had an emergency, but when I walked in there, she had another gentleman sitting there with her. Now, what did that tell me about her? Should I spend my time with her? Yes. Look at this list. What immediately did I know? Number one, she's coachable. Because she could have said to me, what? My mother canceled, and Bill will understand. And would I have understood? Yes, I would have. Y'all wrong. I sound tough, but ain't how I manage. I would have definitely understood. But you know what I now know? No, she is coachable. What I just tell you, her mother couldn't show up. I didn't under her not being coachable, but she got another person there. What's this say up there? Can you get others to a meeting? She did. On the spur of the moment. Great guy, wants to roll off his 401ks and all that stuff. And when he left there, he said, man, I like this guy. I like this environment. I want to join y'all. He's making about 160, 170 a year, his current job. He said, I want to join. He said, this is unbelievable. Now, what's that mean to me about her? She's got credibility. She's also coachable. What's the odds now of me working a lot with her? Okay, in your business, you got to do the same. It's called overlapping leadership. I'm going to go down below. This is 3 levels down. Work with her, help her. Will that push up her people? Okay, now what if all of them quit? Who does she roll up to? Me. Do I want them to quit? No, I want them to make it. But what does the statistics say? Either they're going to become a vice president. Now we got somebody next to that person. Look at the notes. It's amazing to me. I taught school for 8, 9 years. I can look past the second row and see you flipping through my book. It's like, anybody ever cheated on a test? Oh, they ain't going to see me. They're looking right at you. You're like this, and you don't think they see you cheating? So then she said, like, see right here about the rejection, Hannah, rejection. You don't get down, you get mad and you attack. I recruited this other guy, he's an interpreter. He just did one of the Beyonce, he went and did the interpreting at that big concert, okay? This guy's really a neat guy. I recruited him personally, and I was training him, and we had some appointments, and they fell through. And he called me, he was kind of depressed. I said, never, ever call me like that again. Ever. Ever. And boy, he shocked up. I said, listen, I'm working with you personally. That tells me you're thinking about quitting. Oh, I'm not going to go. I said, think about your tone of voice. I said, did your wife see like that? Yeah, she told me. I said, then think about that. Well, it's my wife. That's exactly who you don't want to ever see that with. Ever. I don't think I'll get that call again. But then right behind it, I said, look, dude, I understand that. I felt the same way. I just don't show it. Get mad, attack, get on the phone, set some more appointments. He called me back. We recruited a guy right behind that. He went back personally and made a couple of sales through that guy's market, but he got mad. So he's attacked. You got to work with people. You can't just give them this list. You got to talk to them. So you go through this entire list, and this is who you work with. If you have to spoon feed people, see the one down there about the middle, number 6, do a self-study. But you got to put the information in front of them, and that's who you work with. If you get them back and you say, well, you know, I got that book. Did you read the book? No, I didn't read the book. Okay, read the book, get back with me. If you give them these books, and I put this in everybody's hand when I recruit them. I have a whole storeroom of people, and I'll give them these things. When I recruit somebody, I'll give them the life insurance book. I give them the investment book. You know why? That's what we do. And then right behind them, I give them the business building book. Why? That's what we do. You think people we recruit know how to build a business? No. They don't have a clue. This will teach you everything about it, and it's third-party material. So like Tom Hopkins taught us, anything you say could be a lie. Anything they say is the truth. Put it in their hand, all of a sudden you'll see them start repeating it. Okay? Then the mental toughness, that is the key. Because most people get wiped out here. Why? They're not mentally tough enough to make it, especially grown men. The bigger they are, the more pansy they usually are. No, I'm just telling you up front, it's amazing how weak men are. As soon as somebody says, no, it's unbelievable. Military guys especially. And pro athletes, biggest punks I ever saw in my life. They're all big and macho and all that kind of stuff. And as soon as somebody says no, especially their mommy, then it's like all of a sudden not for them. No, you're just a punk. I'm telling you, you better be ready for this, guys, because if you're not mentally tough and emotionally mature every time they drop out, what's going to happen to your commitment level? It's going to drop out, and you're never going to have a business, and what's going to happen to all your dreams and goals? Boom! They're going to come crashing down the ground. We're going to talk about that tonight. So use this and really study this and use this, okay? So if you look at this is Art Williams' 24-hour rule. So if you look at it, when you recruit somebody within the first 24 hours to 48 hours, worst case, okay, get back in front of them. Get back in front of them. Most of us don't violate that. Most of us violate that. Get back in front of them. Doesn't matter where. Coffee, lunch, at your house, whatever it is. Get back in front of them. Around the office, something. Number 2, get in front of their spouse or some partner that has an influence in their life. Now think how many times you've done that. I bet you if you've lost people, it's during this period of time. So when should you schedule that follow-up meeting? Right away. What's right away mean? Immediately. What's immediate mean? See, that crap means nothing. When? No, you're not giving me specifics. Y'all, huh? When?
When you take the IBA.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that hard, guys. When you take the IBA. See, these are ambiguous times y'all were throwing up. It's got to be specific. Okay? So when I take the IBA, right there I schedule what? Our follow-up. When should it be within? 24. What if they tell me at that time, what could be an objection? I don't have the time. I have to work. Well, is that a legitimate answer? No. They're not working 24 days, 7 days a week. Well, I'm real busy. Well, I'm too. And the guy told me this coach told me, I says, you just told me you weren't that busy. All of a sudden, now you're that busy. Oh, no, you're right. Okay, when you want to meet? Well, I got these kids that I said, okay, no problem. How about early in the morning? What am I doing now? I'm testing it. So here I am, very wealthy, very successful. What was I telling him? I'm willing to meet. Now, he's got to tell me he can't meet. So he said, okay, I'll meet. I said, great, let's meet. So I did. We met at like 6 in the morning, something like that. And we did another follow-up. I met him at lunchtime. All of a sudden, he had enough time to take off his job to come meet me for lunch. Now, the third time I wanted to meet with him, he was back to I didn't have time. What's he telling me? No one or nothing is that important to him. Did he have time? He had time. But he didn't have time to accomplish his goals and dreams. He had time. Anybody didn't show up this weekend? They were what? Busy. Busy getting ahead or busy getting by? Nobody's that busy. There's nobody that busy. They just don't want to win bad enough. I didn't have time to study. I didn't have time to read the book. I didn't have time. No, we got time. Okay? So, the other thing, get their fast start planner completed. Now, I violate this sometimes because sometimes I'll do 2 meetings before I get it completed. But usually I try to do a 45-minute follow-up, get the fast start, take them lunch, take them breakfast, whatever. But then I get back to follow through them because you're not going to get through them one time anyhow. Okay, get their financial needs now. Now, this is different. Maybe some of y'all different. Don't take my word. Do what your upline tells you to do, especially if it's Jim telling you this. But I don't ever ask anybody. I'd never have ever in my career asked anybody to buy their life insurance. I'd never have in my career. If they don't see the need for it, I'm not going to push it on, but I'm also not going to work with them. I'm just telling you, I will work with nobody that doesn't do their fun. And they should ask me, once I explain to them how important it is, I talk to them about their goals and dreams. If they don't then address it with me, I'm not going to work with that because I'm not going to work with a hypocrite. Now, I explain that, and then I put it on them, okay? But you do whatever your upline tells you to do, okay? Did I tell you about when Blake, I want to give you this real quick. Blake, when he was taking his exam, insurance exam, he flunked it his first time, okay? Because he didn't study, he was out partying and stuff. And so on the second time he took it, he flunked it again. And he told the girl at the test center, he looked around and he said, my dad must be, what's my dad doing? And she said, son, I don't know who your dad is, but he had nothing to do with you flunking this insurance test. You know what I'm saying? Blake thought I had some power at the insurance office, you know? So you get people to a meeting, okay? That's very important. Because if they don't have enough influence in their best friends, just like set an appointment. I've never set an appointment. That's not true. That's a lie. I don't set appointments for other people. If you don't have enough credibility with your friends, neighbors, and relatives, set your own appointments, I'm probably not going to work with you. Right. Now, I have done this, and I think it works. I remember, and I did this a lot, I'd have 4 or 5 new people that I was training, and I'd have my desk right in front of them. I'd have a speakerphone on this back when we had landlines. And I'd have them sitting there with their 30 name list. And I'd say, okay, who's your first person? They'd dial their number and they'd get them on the phone, say what their name is, who they're working with. And I'd take over the appointment and set the appointment. Then I'd move to that person to do the same. Then that, and I'd go back until I work my entire week up with those people. Everybody got me? And his person might say, well, I can see you Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Hang up, got that appointment booked. Then I call your friend, and she says, 7 o'clock Tuesday night. I never said I can't see you. I said, okay, put it down. Now, why? I don't have to be on every appointment. I can get one of my managers to go with that person or that person, and most time, what happens to an appointment anyhow? It cancels or postpones. So I double, triple book every time. And I go down until I had everybody double, triple book pretty much for the entire week based on their goals. Everybody got me? Okay, so try to do this kind of stuff to book up as many, because I guarantee you most of y'all not having as many appointments you want to have. Amen? Okay, anybody with me? Okay, I see some of y'all got your arms crossed. I don't know how you're taking notes on that. That's amazing how y'all can do that. That's amazing, okay? So get them to meetings. Now, I'm telling you, that's the hardest thing to do, get people to a meeting. But if they can get them to a meeting, you better work with those people, because those are your leaders. They got influence. They have influence, okay? Get them in the field on appointments when? No, stop all this BS words. What's it say? 24 to 48 hours. What's immediate? That's like the next second. Okay, 24 to 48 hours, get across the kitchen table. But listen, okay, it's called the law of diminishing return. You get all excited, juiced up, fired up, and all of a sudden it goes down. I'm telling you, if you go across that kitchen table with a good field trainer, like some of y'all are animals. If they get you across the kitchen table with people that like and trust them, seriously, what are y'all's odds for closing? I'd say probably 60 to 80, 100%, probably average 80. Okay, think about how they feel when they walk out of there. Now, no matter what anybody tells them, it ain't going to matter. They're all fired up. They made a sale. They're going to get a little bonus from the company. You're praising them. You're making them feel special, because remember, I'm going to hit the 50-50 rule. Says 50% of your time training, 50% of your time treating them. If I'm training you and I start praising you by this, you got an appointment. Unbelievable. They ain't been treated that way at their job. We make a sale. Woo! I make it sound like you're the first person ever done that. I take you out. I tell everybody I'll go back and see your spouse. Tell them what you just did. Man, you're going to be a champion, whatever it is. Y'all do a great job of that up here. I'm telling you, they're going to move. So this is important at the kitchen table, recruiting something. Let them see this thing working. Okay. Then if it goes bad, and are some of them going to go bad? You know what you do? You turn and say, see how this is? It ain't that tough, but you see why so many people quit? Because this is why people quit. They can't take the rejection. I know you're not like that. That's why I'm so proud of it. Let's go call another one. That's a great, so right away, okay? Then get them on POL, teach them how to do all that stuff so they can get on there and learn that stuff, read it. Because a lot of people like to do that kind of stuff, especially if a competitor. Get them some material. Put something in their hand. I carry recruiting packs with me. Keep a stack of them. I have the 6-page. I have the quality of life little sheet I've made up. I'll probably show it real quick. I do the third-party piece from the company, the credibility of Primerica. I cover a compensation sheet I have in there to explain compensation. I have to think about how to get started, what's next, all that kind of stuff. The question all the winners ask. I always put that in their hand. So they walk in, they got a package. Now, do most people read it? No, but they got a package. Then at their house, their spouse might say, well, what'd you talk about? Well, right here. And all of a sudden they start fumbling through it, and that's what you want them to do. Does that make sense to you? And then I give them that material. I told you those booklets if they sign up. I give them that recruiting pack whether they sign up or not. I give them all those 6 books. If they do sign up, that's just my investment in them. And then if they quit, I tell them, look, if you don't mind, I want those books back. You think I'm kidding? I do. Okay. Get them started on licensing based upon what y'all think. I'm not telling you what to do, but I think the sooner you get them started on licensing, the faster, the more you're going to tie them in, okay? Started means what? Just go online, start doing some kind of preparation. Now, just do a check 1 through 10. Are you doing this every time? I bet you most of us could say we're not. I know I don't do all these things perfectly. Get them started on a fast track to district. What's that mean? They ought to be a district within 4 to 6 weeks. If not, you probably violated some of the things above. Everybody with me? We don't want to place all the blame on them. I try to take all the blame on me if somebody fails. Like I'm still reeling from this coach. I really am. It really bothers me. Because I feel like I let him down. I feel like I failed. Now I'm ticked, okay? I'm going to wear his butt out, right? All right, so here's Art Williams. Art said spend 50% of your time with a client base, okay? By the way, I don't care what client base you're talking about. I believe you do both. but spend 50% of the time developing a client base. And he said, spend 50% of the time developing a sales force. Now, let me ask you a simple, logical question. What do you think the fastest, biggest way is to build a big client base? Okay, there you go. Build a big sales force. Once you build a big sales force, logic says you'll have a bigger client base, which results to more money. So this isn't about being a sniper. It's like the Chinese army. We just kill them all and let God sort them out. Guys, you got to get big in this business if you're going to get wealthy. You're not going to be able to go out there and write personal business the rest of your entire life. I haven't written an app, I think, in 20 years. I had a guy walk in the other day, 1.8 million, wanted to invest. I know everything about the investment business, but I explained everything, pushed a button in my office, and my son came walking next door. I said, Blake, here's what I want this guy investing money in. Yes, sir, Dad. What do you know he's going to do? Write the app. Now, my name better be on there as a second agent. Okay? Knowing him, he wouldn't. But he did. Now, why did I do that? To help my son? No. I did that because I'm not going to do the follow-up. But I knew the business. So that my clients come from the people I recruit, but I write other people, let other people write the business because I'm going to override it anyhow. Now, you don't have mine and Jim's contract. Our contract's 190+%. You don't have that kind of a contract. So my overrides make up for what I would write personally selling. And it allows me to free up my time to recruit, train other people. So focus on this. I'm going to show you how to do it. While you're out there, marketing is the distribution business, the outlet concept, right? In business, you get paid for what you get done, not for what you do personally. Now, what do you need to be doing initially? Personally. Your job is to work your way out of a job. As far away from that kitchen table as you can be once you got a business built. Now, if I go back across the kitchen table, what is my intention across that kitchen table? Me, Bill Whittle, right now. To do what?
Duplicate.
What? Somebody said.
Duplicate
myself. Okay. So when I'm there, I'm never going to go out there, me, personally, Jim should never do that either. I'm never going to go out there by myself unless I'm there to recruit. I'm never going to go out there just to sell. Never. Okay. So if I go out there to recruit, I get them in the business, then I'm going to teach them across that kitchen table for a period of time they can do it themselves. Now, what are they then doing? Out there training people. Your job's to train trainers to train trainers. They're going to go on you. The better the master copy is. Who's the master copy? You. I don't miss sales. I get referrals and recruits almost every appointment. Why? I'm very good at what I do. I was horrible at first. I sucked. I hate rejection. Anybody here besides me hate rejection? Okay, I know some of you macho studs, you're good at rejection. You'll be quitting in about 3 weeks. I hate rejection. So you know what I did? I got so good at my skills, I don't get rejection. I don't have people tell me no. And if they do tell me no, like that coach has basically done after he signed up, I'm going to be like a friggin' badger. I'm telling you, I'll follow up till he gets started, he dies. But I'm not letting up, okay? So on that, it says Primerica builders don't recruit to recruit. We know this. They don't recruit to sell. They recruit to build. Now listen, I want to tell you something. If you're just recruiting to recruit, to get your name on the bulletin and stuff like that, I'm not telling you that's all bad. Because if you recruit enough people, I promise you, 1 or 2 of them are going to say, look, I want to get trained. I want to make some money. So even if that's you, it's not all bad. Even if you have people doing that, well, my people are not selling, but they're recruiting. Don't discourage that. Please listen to me. Do not discourage that. One of them are going to bring in somebody. They're going to start selling because they're going to see other people selling, making money. And they're going to think, what are they doing to make money? They'll start doing this. and then to recruit, to build, that might take you a while to learn that. You can learn to resell overnight. You can learn the financial service business. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to learn securities. It's not that hard to learn insurance. It's not that hard. What is that? It's math. Does math change? No, it's not that complicated. Don't pride yourself in being some guru. You should be one, but don't get caught up in that. The question is, can you get that done through other people? Now you're in business. If not, what are you? Help me. What's a cash flow quadrant? Self-employed. What if you get sick? Jim and I both had heart issues. We were down. What if you get old? Some of y'all, too late. You already are. Seriously. What if all of a sudden you have a family situation? You're in trouble. But if you have a business, it just keeps perpetuating. You got to get serious about this stuff, guys. Okay? What business are we in? No, we're in the people business. Okay, that's a good answer, distribution, but we don't use machines, we use people. How many people do you have? That's your business. Not how many clients. That's not your business. Because if you want to sell your business, guess what? You don't have a valuation. You don't have a business. You are the business. Without you, those people leave. So Art Williams said, 50% of your time prospecting, 50% of your time across the kitchen table. Now, does he mean really across a kitchen table? Nobody's got an answer for this? Is that what he meant? It could be anywhere. You could be recruiting presentation at Starbucks coffee. It could be a kitchen table. It could be anywhere, but it's face-to-face, just trying to distribute either our business opportunity or one of our financial products. So what, 50% of the time doing what? Prospecting. Then 50% of the time basically presenting. Now let me ask you a question. Look at your day planner, time management. How much time are you spending prospecting? I'm going to show you a way to do this in a minute. How much time are you doing this? Now, how would you know that? If those are not turned into appointments and then you're making presentations, you're out of business. Is everybody with me? Y'all awake? Okay, good. Okay, so here we go. So I said that you got to develop a recruit mentality and a builder's mindset. Now, initially, I didn't understand what that meant. But that's not something everybody uses now. But a recruit, if it was a recruit mentality, what would you be thinking about mentality all the time? Recruiting. Now, y'all got zillion people up here in this part of the country. Are there enough people up here that we could be recruiting? Yes. Okay, so if I look at the leaders bulletin and I saw your name and I looked at the right of that and saw how many people are next to your name, would I think you have a builder's or a recruiting mindset? No. So what do we need to do? The Bible says, do not conform to this world, but be transformed by what? A renewing of your mind. We got to go back to thinking this way. That's what Art Williams taught us. Think like a recruiter. So who do we see everybody as? Okay, not as a recruit. Prospect, a potential recruit. Until they show us a reason not to recruit them, give them a chance. Then once they show you a reason not to, cut them off and move on. Everybody, when I walk in a house, I don't want to recruit everybody. I don't recruit everybody. If all of a sudden I walk in that house and the guy starts saying something real negative or about his spouse or using an F-bomb every other word in front of his kids, I'm not associating with somebody like that. There's an old saying, if you lay down with the pigs, you get up with the slop. I'm not recruiting somebody like that. I'm not going to do it. I can't take that chance. If I recruit somebody and he actually goes this, that way, get in a car and he starts talking about cheating on his spouse or doing this or that, stealing money or doing things illegal, boom, that conversation's over. I'm never training that person ever again. Now you decide what you want to do, but you're building your business and you're going to duplicate that. So on this, he said, recruiting is nothing more than a sales process. Dennis just talked about that. How successful are you is sales. Some of y'all hell on wheel at sales. But then you got to ask yourself a question, why are you not recruiting more people? Because you're great at sales. What do you think the real answer is? Huh? Help me out. What? You said you're not trying. Exactly right. It's impossible. If during your presentation, if you're that good at sales, somebody should turn to you and say, this is unbelievable. I think what? I could do this. Are y'all hiring? See, if they're not saying that, something's wrong with your presentation or your personality. Wow. It's not a debatable point. Now, at that time, you say, what? We don't hire, but we do recruit. We give you an opportunity to have your own business. Would you like me to show you a little bit more about that? And then wait for an answer. Woofa. Shut up and listen. And they'll tell you how to recruit them. Okay? If that's not happening, what's that saying? Either your presentation sucks or your personality sucks. It's not a maybe. Or they should be saying, you know what? Last time you were out here, I got thinking about this, and I talked to my brother-in-law. I talked to my sister, my brother, and I told them all about you and your company. They want to talk to you. That should be happening constantly. Or something's wrong with what? Presentation or your personality. So can you go to work on both those today? Okay, we're making progress. How about that, okay? Number 2, it says, do assumptive selling. Here I came up with this stuff, a little silly, but I really do this. So number 1, and I say this out loud at times. I say, would you think it's fair to me assume this? I assume you love your family. Is that accurate? And I woofa. Wait for an answer. By the way, George Heidemeyer, one of my guys I recruited years and years ago, I was doing training one day, and I walked past the training class. He's in there training, and I heard him yelling or saying, woofa. And I walked down, I said, George, who are you talking to? He said, I'm trying to get appointments. I said, George, what are you saying, woofa? He said, well, it's right here on the script you gave me. You asked a question, and he would ask it. I swear to God, strike me dead, and he was saying, woofa, right there. And then I explained to him what it was, and about a day later, we were doing some things, training, and he was talking about somebody about a guaranteed 6 or 8% iniquity. I said, George, what in the crap are you talking about iniquity? He said, the iniquity. I said, George, it's an annuity, not an iniquity. Now he makes $100 and something thousand a year with me, doesn't know what annuity, okay? But so I say, do you love your family? He say, yeah. I assume that you're responsible. Would you say that's a fair assumption? What do you think everybody wants to say? Yeah. Especially if you're sitting there with a spouse. Then I say, I assume that you have the drive and ambition to do more with your life. Yeah. And they'll say, yeah. I said, so it's okay for me to assume these things? Yeah. And I assume you're not stupid. And I smile on that one. Because they can take it wrong if you don't smile and make it light. And I said, now, ignorance is acceptable. Stupidity is not acceptable. I was ignorant when I started, which meant what? I didn't know what to do. I didn't know insurance. I didn't know investment. I didn't know business. But once they taught me it, once they gave me material, now was I ignorant? No. But if I didn't do something about my financial situation, I was then what? Write this down. Larry Winget wrote the book, You're Broke Because You Want to Be. It's one of the best books you'll ever read. You're broke because you want to be. Now, it could be you're overweight because you want to be. You have bad relationships with people because you want to have them. Here's what he says. One of 3 things. Either you're lazy, stupid, or you don't give a damn. Lazy, stupid, or don't give a damn. Now, is ignorance okay? Yeah. But ignorance is not a choice. I mean, it is not a choice. Stupidity is. Okay? So, I wanted to learn how to use computers. But I've been putting it off now for almost 2.5 years. And finally, I got sick and tired of saying that. So I started doing some specialized training. Now, let me ask you all a question. I knew that was the one priority Bill Whittle needed to make to do the current field training the way I knew I was capable of doing, I needed to do. I knew that. Everybody got me? What was the answer? Learning how to Use computers, iPads, and laptops. Who did not know how to do that? I did. Now, am I stupid? No. Well, y'all don't know that. Okay. But I am what? Ignorant about that. But I'm not stupid, which meant what? I could learn it if what? Who said that? If I wanted to. So if I didn't, I'm either don't give a damn or I'm lazy. And I started thinking, no, I'm not. And then I started thinking, yes, I am. No, I'm being serious. Now, Jim and I have talked about this. I'm stone wealthy. You couldn't have a better life than I have. I really don't think you could. And yet, what is that saying about the third one? Really was I don't give a damn. Because there's a lot of other people that want my life. And what I'm really saying is, I don't give a damn about you. What's the water example I just gave you? This is tough crap. I have these conversations with me every day. I swear to God, strike me dead. This kind of way I talk to myself. But I'm a tough dude. I'm mentally tough. I like to have my butt kicked once in a while because I'm not a punk. I want somebody to talk to me like a man. Because if they don't, oh, you're okay. You know, I think you're right. Okay, just tell me the way it is and I'll change. So I use this, okay, and this is what I do. And then this way I sell, keys to sell. I try to educate you to get you understanding certain things. Then I can try to get you disturbed. Now, you can disturb people with humor, fun, laughter, or get them to understand. So with this coach, I'm telling you, I'm trying everything there is. I've tried, I know shaming doesn't work, although I revert to that sometime. That doesn't work. Even though he told me this, I could bring it up to him, but obviously it's not working. I've got to find something that's going to motivate him, so I got to educate him about how his life can change. Now, do you think he really wants to reach his goals and dreams? Yes, I believe he does. What do you think the hold back factor is? Fear or doubt and lack of belief. So your number one responsibility is to get these new recruits within 24 to 48 hours, or as fast as you can, get their belief and confidence up and get their doubt and fear down. For the rest of your entire career, that will never change. Belief and confidence up, doubt and fear down. Over and over and over. Don't think they got it. Don't think, oh, they're good. No, they are not. We're all like that. So, and then create a friendship. Guys, that's critical. You got to create such a good relationship. Now when I say things to people, it's because they know I have a relationship, which means I can relate to them. But like Jesus did, he went down to where the sinners and everybody was, but he said, I'm not standing there with you. I'm coming. I understand what you're feeling, but I ain't going there with you. I'm bringing you up. That's your job as a leader. So when you recruit somebody, maybe you haven't been at the top, but you know where you probably have been? At the bottom. So why not grab them and say, we're going to do this thing together. I told this coach, look, dude, you're going to be out away from your family. You might have to miss church some Sunday to study for your exam. You know what? I'm going to be there with you. I went through this same thing. I understand this. I'm going to be there every step of the way. And I told his wife, I'm going to be with them every step of the way. My wife's been with you. She's going to be with you. You got to be there with us. Oh, I'm in. He's not done it yet. I ain't giving up on him. You got to do the same thing, guys. Okay, then it says you're one recruit away from an explosion. How many of y'all have recruited a personal direct recruit, at least one personal direct recruit in the last 90 days? Less than half the audience. Less than half the audience, one recruit in 90 days. That's impossible. That means you're not even what? Trying. Woo! Getting quiet up in him. Okay? So one recruit's all you need to get started explosion. I'm not going to cover it. I'll get that later. You're looking for chasers. Okay, rapid recruiting. I won't get to that. I'll get to that. I want to know if I'll get to that at all. Okay? Don't worry about this. Dr. Phil, I got a whole DVD on it, so I'll send it up to y'all. Jim's probably got it. But on this one, we get into recruiting. 50-50. 50% of the time, what? Prospecting. 50% of the time, what? Okay, across that kid's table, presenting. So Dr. Phil said, he had two attractive young ladies on his show one time, and they were sitting there, and they were griping because they didn't have a good-looking man. They were dating and stuff like that. And he said, well, let me ask you something. What is your routine? She said, what do you mean? He said, what's your routine? She said, well, I get up every day. One of them said, I get up every day. I shower, this, that, and the other. And I have a bite to eat. I get in my car, go to my office. I come back on the way home, stop, get me something to eat, and go back home. He said, for the right man to find you, they're going to have to, at the stoplight, jump on the hood of your car and say, here I am. He said, that's probably not going to happen. Now, when he said that, I was watching. I was on my bike riding and at the health club. And I thought, that's this business. That's how we do. We think they're going to jump in front of us and say, here I am. Now, are they looking for something like this? But we don't talk to them. We'd have to be a mind reader. They'd have to be a mind reader. It ain't going to happen. You're going to have to change the way you present things to people. You're going to have to change your routines. So I had a guy in one of my other offices up here, loved the guy to death. And he picked me up from the airport, taken to the office. We're doing a fast start school with the other hierarchy I work with up here. And I said, why aren't you recruiting more people? He said, well, I said, you need to join a health club. He said, I do go to a health club. I said, let me ask you, what time do you go? 6 o'clock every morning. Great. And you're not recruiting anybody? That is impossible if you try. No way. It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. I just did this with a new coach I recruited. I bought him a health club membership, paid for it for a year, out of my pocket. What was I trying to teach him how to do? Prospect, recruit. Guess how many people he's recruited? None. It's impossible. At a Healing Place church where I go, 6,000 people every Sunday. It's impossible to go there and not recruit people. It's impossible to go anywhere and not recruit somebody. But first of all, you have to do what? Prospect them. Talk to them. Smile. Say hi. Start a conversation. How can you not do that? It's impossible. Unless no one or nothing is that important to you. Well, it's just not my comfort zone. So being broke is? What do you think I told that coach? He's afraid. But he's got to have a makeup time. He's going to be broke. Now he's put off another month. He ain't done nothing yet. What's he saying? I'm okay to live this way. Play fat and lose close. Bob Saffer used to say that. Play fat and lose clothes on the tennis court. That ain't the way you got to live your life. So then he said you got to change your, go to a target-rich environment. So if a young lady is looking for a very attractive male that has morals and ethics and values, what do you think they should? Well, first of all, he asked him, where are you going? What do you think they said? First place, bars. Now, they're looking for something, but it ain't what probably, I promise you, I know what they're looking for, okay? That ain't the guys you want to have calling you back, unless you're looking for the same thing. But that ain't what they said they were looking for. Where do you think they should go? Church, maybe? Maybe a health club? Yeah, Primerica events. Because you can't imagine me some people get their partner right here. What else maybe? Sporting events, places people are active, people are doing something, they're moving, but they're excited, they're energetic, not drunk and hammered and doing all. You got me on this? Guys, let's be honest with this stuff. Is there any place like that up here? I'm going to give you some examples in a minute, okay? So, I'm going to go to this. You look at these people. So you look at these examples. You look at Collis in Britain. I got him. He played college ball at LSU. I played with his dad. Jim got hurt playing professional. Collis did professional basketball. for the Detroit Pistons, came back. I recruited him that morning with this exact same presentation I'm going through with y'all. Exact same thing. And he turned to me and said, I don't want to know what everybody else is doing. You tell me what you did and tell me what your stars do. I told him. He said, I'll do it. And he's done everything I've ever asked him to do. You look at Joycelyn Preville's medical transcriptions, making $30,000 a year. It was actually less than that. Now about $500,000. Same thing. I look at Blake, my son. I look at Lindsay, and I look at Jim and Mary. What a success story. But you know what? Where are these people? Where are these people's background? College is an unemployed student. My son just got out of college, 22 years old. Joycelyn, medical transcriptions. Jim was a football coach and teacher and this, that, and other. Don't you know people like this? So where are people like this? Well, there's a lot of places, but look. So on this, part of it is learning how to get the appointment and then learning what to do on the appointment, the 50-50 rule. So when you're at that kitchen table, now I know a lot of y'all do Zooms nowadays, but you're still technically across the kitchen table. I think it's a silly way to do it because while you're sitting there making the Zoom, you don't have a clue that the spouse may sitting there and be going, no, I'm telling you. It's a big disadvantage doing that stuff. I know you can go through the numbers, but the ratios of success are not very high. Not compared to that kitchen table, face-to-face, eyeball to eyeball, kneecap to kneecap. Plus, you don't know their environment. You can't pull up in that driveway and see how their kids are out in the yard or their car, what it really looks like, or what their house, how well a house is kept, with their next-door neighbors. You can't walk from that house right next to the next house. You can't do that on Zoom. You can go through the numbers, but I think you ought to incorporate both, okay? Do what you want to do, but I think you ought to consider this. So rat recruiting means recruit at the kitchen table. Okay, you got to get good at that. Why? Because what's next door to them? Another kitchen table. What's next door to them? Another kitchen